a video of me yelling for a half hour, just what we all needed. Maddie. For those of you who don't know me, I can't shut the fuck up. Before I really get into this, I want to start by saying I love reality TV. I still watch Jersey Shore in the year 2020. I've never missed an episode. That's the kind of person I am. If you needed more credibility, I was voted most likely to be a reality TV star in high school. That was my senior superlative. So that's me. That's who we're dealing with here. The one type of reality TV that I've had sort of a more push and pull relationship with is dating reality TV shows. And a lot of my friends watch and love The Bachelor and have tried to get me to watch it for years. I mean, I tried, you know, I tried to watch it, but there was always something about it that I just couldn't get into, that I felt weird about, that just like wasn't enjoyable for me. I'm sure it's no secret that I'm a big girl. I'm a size 16. I've talked openly about body positivity and my struggle with my own self-image throughout my entire time online, which has been about a decade now. And I think the more that I've thought on it, the more that I'm starting to realize that it's probably because I don't see myself in these shows. Over the past few months, I've watched an absurd amount of dating reality TV shows in order to analyze the inherent fat phobia that exists on these shows, as well as the more subtle underlying tones that exist when people talk about body image and how they are subconsciously impacting the people who watch these shows. Yeah, so let's get into it, fuck. So first up, I want to talk about Too Hot to Handle, and this was really the show that made me want to make this video. I started watching the show when it got big a couple months ago and immediately hated it for many reasons. I suppose it's a bit ironic that this is the first show that I'm talking about because it's not really a dating show, but it's in a similar fucking category, so give me a break. So I had a couple problems with this show that go beyond just the obvious lack of diversity in casting, which exists amongst all reality TV dating shows and reality TV in general, but we'll get there. I honestly hate the fucking premise of the show itself. I think that it is a little slut-shamey. For those of you that don't know, Too Hot to Handle is essentially a show where they take some of the world's hottest, sexiest, horniest people and put them on an island, and none of them know this, but they soon find out that they're not allowed to fuck each other, touch each other, kiss each other. If they do, they lose portions of the prize money, and they're basically just trying to make it to the end of the show without fucking each other so that they get the grand prize. The entire show, the narrator sort of exists to remind you that these people have had shallow relationships their whole life, and now we're making you not fuck each other so you can experience real, deep, true connection. You have no idea what it's like to have real connections with people. It's just like kind of slut-shamey and kind of assuming that people who engage in casual relationships aren't as like deep as people who don't. There's a deep superiority complex in the narrator and in the general premise of the show as a whole to assume that you are better than someone because they choose to have sex with someone really soon after meeting them. We're all just okay with that. None of us are, nobody cares, but it's kind of okay. I don't really like it. Anyways, that's totally not what this video is about, but I just wanted to kick this off by saying that I didn't like the show as a whole, and I thought the concept could have been cool. Like, I think it's like a naturally entertaining concept, but the narrator throughout the show is like constantly just dunking on these people for being so damn hot and horny. You guys need to stop fucking people so soon after you meet. Like, shut up. Shut up. You sound so old and boring. Everyone on the show is super fit, super thin, and they really try to nail home the idea that we picked some of the hottest, sexiest, horniest people on earth, and they all look exactly the fucking same. And it's not shocking, right? Like, big people not being casted in shows like this, not like they ever fucking have. It just further nails home the point that Big bodies just aren't attractive, and more importantly, people aren't attracted to us. On episode 1, one of the contestants, Matthew, opens up by saying that he's typically attracted to model-looking types, skinny. Right from the jump, it just seemed like the audience was being hit over the head with the fact that thinness is equated to beauty in this show, in this world. Also, you're hearing about something that we hear a lot in our day-to-day lives, which is the conversation of types. What is your type? I fucking hate it. Really typical to hear fatphobia passed off as a lack of preference. I feel like a lot of people will say, oh, like fat people just aren't my type. I'm just not attracted to them, in order to brush off taking any responsibility or ownership for the fact that you're probably got some underlying fatphobia going on there. Could be something to look into. It gives them an out, because they're able to say, well, I'm just not attracted to them. And there is a certain level of fairness to this. I mean, you can't help who you are or are not attracted to, but most people, I'll go on a fucking limb here, most people won't cross off an entire population of the fucking human race. Like, if you find yourself being typically attracted to blonde people, you're not gonna say, fuck you, brunettes, I'm just not fucking attracted to you. Like, it's not so aggressive. We're talking about human beings here, not an ice cream flavor preference. This isn't you saying, oh, I just don't like chocolate ice cream, I just don't like cookie dough ice cream. You're talking about a fucking person, and it's a lot more nuanced than just, oh, fuck no, I don't like them, I'm not attracted to them. You have internalized fatphobia here. You are impacted by the ways that our media talks about big bodies, the way that we have been socialized to interact with people who have big bodies. It's not like you exist in a vortex where you have never had to think about this before and you've never been influenced by any of this before, and this is just your fucking preference. It's not anything bad, it's just what I don't like. That can't happen. Our preferences for certain bodies oftentimes aren't preferences at all. They're just outward showcases of the biases that we've learned over time.
I understand that this might be one of my more controversial takes in this video. I think that's because a lot of people feel uncomfortable admitting how fatphobia has impacted the ways that they've talked about desire in the past. And that's fine. I want to make very clear here, though, that what I'm not saying is that if you meet a fat person and you're not attracted to them, that you're a bad person. You don't have to be attracted to every fat person that you meet. I'm not attracted to every fat person that I meet. But what I am saying is, if you look at fat people as a whole, in general, and say, I would never be attracted to a fat person, fuck fat people, I just don't think they're hot.
I read a lot of articles while making this video, and I'll link all of them below, but I read one that said, what would happen if a celebrity like Brad Pitt showed up to the red carpet at the Oscars with a fat woman that was not only much wider than him, but taller than him as well? And I don't have to tell you what would happen, because you know what would happen. Why do we know what would happen? Why are we okay with that? Up, we've got The Bachelor, the king of reality TV dating shows. Okay, every time I've tried to watch it, I just sort of leave feeling worse about myself. It feels like I watch these shows and I am so far from looking like what those girls look like, and because of the show's massive success, it just feels like I'm watching something that I shouldn't be. Like I have like a little spy camera into a club that normally girls like me would be fucking barred from entering. I mean, the max size you see on a show like that is like size 4, maybe. So it's not even like my size 8 friends are included in the mix, but they're at least on the fucking wait list. They can still shop at all the same stores. They sell your fucking size. And they're not selling a lot of people's, considering the average size of a woman in the United States is fucking size 14. Hello? 67% of American women are a size 14 and above. So this is like an exclusive ass fucking club that all of us just get to like watch.
Be like, oh, they're so hot and they're falling in love.
something I would just know nothing about. I hate it. I hate it. And like a lot of reality TV shows, you can go on and naturally afterwards you gain a lot of social media success. All of a sudden you have this massive following and you're being approached by brands, and very often the brands that are targeting reality TV stars are the detox teas, the weight loss fucking gummy vitamins, the appetite suppressant lollipops, the shapewear brands that suck in your stomach. It's very common to see these reality show contestants leave the show and promote products like that online, and at this point it's like part of Bachelor culture. And there's also a question of whether or not people that don't have the reality TV body would even want to come on these types of shows, which fair fucking enough, and I'll get more into this as we go deeper in. According to one of the articles I read, it seemed like there was a plus size model casted on one season of The Bachelor, and she got kicked off first night or something like that. She was like really not on the show at all. Sorry, I'm reading this part, but in a 2014 interview with the New York Times, Chris Harrison, which is the host of The Bachelor, was asked whether there would ever be a more realistic Bachelor on the show. And his answer was no. You know why? Because that's not attractive, and television is a very visual medium. And I know that sounds horrible to say, but I know that at 42, in the eyes of television, I'm old and unattractive. And that's the problem. We've nailed into everyone's heads at this point that people don't even want to see realistic bodies on TV. We don't want to see the everyday person. We don't want to see plus size people because they're not aspirational. We can't look at them and say, oh my God, I want to be them, apparently. At this point, producers think that they have to feature these people who have an unattainable level of attractiveness in order to generate viewers. And on some level, they're right. We have been so conditioned to want to consume content from people who have bodies that are so wildly unattainable, and you keep watching it because you're like, holy fuck, I want that. This is what's hot. This is what people want. If I looked like that, oh my God, I would be in love. If I looked like that, I would have all these brands lined up wanting to fucking work with me. Self-hatred makes money. Self-hate makes a lot of fucking money. It's what fuels the entire diet industry and has for years. Like, of course it makes money. That doesn't make it right. And let me be super clear and reiterate again that I love watching reality TV. And this isn't me being like, boycott reality TV, because the solution is not overnight. The solution is going to take a long fucking time. But I think talking about the ways in which body image is negatively impacted by these reality TV shows is pretty important, because yes, it is just reality TV and we all watch it because it's like, a lot of these people are ridiculous. But there's a part of you that watches these shows and you learn something about the way people exist and the way people are, because whether or not it's actually real, it's served to you as if it is. Yeah, you're probably taking something away from that and internalizing the fact that you don't fit into that demographic. You never have and you never will. How does that make you feel? And listen, I think there's a lot of people that would watch the show if we had a fat bachelor or a fat bachelorette. I, personally, would love to go on the show. And I could bring the drama and we could make it crazy, all without ever acknowledging that you cast fat people on your show.
And we gotta be careful of what we're rushing into. You might be fooling me, and I could be fooling you.
Next up, we've got Love is Blind. Of course, I had to talk about Love is Blind in this video. I feel like this is one of the shows that has been talked about in regards to body image on reality shows a lot lately, especially since it recently came out. Love is Blind is a dating show that is also a social experiment about whether or not love is actually blind. But if you were really gonna put that hypothesis to the test, you would have to cast a wide variety of people and appearances and body sizes, and they just didn't do that. And it's like fine, because after a couple episodes the show sort of drops the fact that it's a social experiment and just goes full dating show on ya, and it actually gets way less interesting too. When I first started watching it, I was like, well, this test is kind of not a test. If you don't have any big people on your show, that feels like a population you would probably need in order to actually showcase if this experiment went well or not. If you were really gonna do it. But should you do it? My first reaction to the show was, of course, like, okay, where are the fucking curvy people? My second reaction, and this is the reaction that a lot of people have had online to the show, is like, thank God they didn't cast any big people in this show. Because the way that these reality TV shows are run, you could not have a fat person on that show without their weight being made into a massive spectacle of like, you do the experiment, you meet this person behind a wall, is love really blind, and then they meet and you get this amazing display of fatphobia. All of the young people at home watching now have to watch that and take in the fact that they just watched someone get fully rejected for looking exactly like they do.
And listen, you want to believe that people are good, and if you did throw a fat person on a dating show like this, that you could have them exist in their body, find someone, be loved, and have their weight never be brought up. But we all know reality TV producers. There's no fucking way that that would fly. And it definitely couldn't fly on a show like Love is Blind, where the entire premise of the show has to do with your appearance in collaboration with desire, and if your appearance can override someone's desire and attraction to you as a person. So, yeah.
All you take away from watching something like that is thinking, holy fuck, is that what people think of me? Am I ever gonna find someone who loves me because my appearance is too much for them and my personality doesn't outweigh that? There's no fucking way that they would cast a fat person, especially in the context of a social experiment on desire and attractiveness and whether or not it's blind. They wouldn't just cast fat people and not address the fact that they're fat. So yeah, we're good. We don't need fat people on Love is Blind. When we ask for diversity in these types of TV shows and people are wanting to see big bodies on reality TV, they're not wanting you to say, oh look, here they are, we got them. We brought them here just for you. You ordered this, right? Look at them. I want to see a girl that looks like me get on a show like that and have her weight never be talked about, even once. I want to see people that look like me exist the same way that I do, believe it or not, and have the same experience that I assume thin people do when watching reality TV. When you actually get to see people just like you. I think it would just be fucking cool to see more big bodies on TV, to let us in, to watch people fall in love and get to be loved on TV, whether or not it's fucking real or not, but just to watch it and see it happen so innocently without the weight being ever like, oh, well, he loved her despite the fact that she was fat. Like, no, I just want to see someone be loved that looks like me. And a lot of the time when stuff like this is brought up, the solution is always like, oh, let's start a full plus size dating show. Let's have the whole cast be fat. What if we did that? And it's like, no, we don't want that either, because that just further others' big bodies and it makes them feel like you have to be one of us in order to see us and to love us and to be attracted to us. And it's not true. Let me just go out there and say it. It's not fucking true. I just want to say to anybody out there struggling with their weight in relation to whether or not they are lovable, there are so many people out there that are going to be attracted to you and that are going to love you because of your body and not in spite of it. When I was younger, I was so convinced that nobody was going to be attracted to me. I've always had a stomach and I've never had a body that resembled that of my friends, and I've always been the big girl in most groups of people that I've been in. For so long, I thought that meant that it was gonna be harder for people to love me. And listen, I'm not gonna say that it's easy. I've had a lot of people say some really nasty shit to me, for sure, because that's the reality of being fat in this world. When fatphobia is just so normalized, there are some deeply unhappy people out there that are gonna say things to you, just go out of their way to make you feel worse about yourself. There are so many people that are genuinely good people and that have good hearts and that are attracted to a wide variety of people. I graduated from high school, moved to New York City. I have had no problems finding people that are attracted to me and that want to be with me. My body has not been a problem in any way as far as finding people. Are people still mean sometimes? Yeah, absolutely. But I've had no shortage of people who love my body and think it's fucking hot. I wish when I was younger I could have seen a girl that looked like me go on The Bachelor and have 12 different guys fucking drool over her. Like, it sounds stupid, but it probably would have boosted my fucking confidence. Like, you just don't see girls with stomachs just like out lounging about and having people drool over them, so you think it doesn't happen. But it does. There are so many people that are gonna find you fucking hot because and not in spite of your body, period. I think you could find a group of people that are attracted to everybody and have a drama-filled fucking season and have nobody talk about weight ever use it as an attack point, or just it not matter and still have the drama. I think you could do it. If you really worked hard and did your job as a casting director, I think you could fucking do it. Sorry. So many people that are attracted to a wide range of bodies. Hi, I'm one of them. I will fuck most people, okay? Come on now. I know there's more of me out there. Next up, we've got Love Island, and I love Love Island. Got into it for the first time in quarantine, and I think Love Island is probably the best reality TV dating show. But Love Island, like the rest of these shows, has a severe lack of diversity problem across the board, not just in relation to body sizing, but in general. And when people are asked about like, oh, should they include a wider variety of people on Love Island, a lot of people say the same thing they did for Love is Blind, which is, no, please God, don't. Because they think that, again, reality TV producers will just make a spectacle over fatness. And because Love Island is like a constant stream into these people's lives for like 6 weeks, it's like, oh, well, we don't want to watch 6 weeks of a fat person being chosen last to be in a couple, torn apart in privacy in the little fucking one-on-one interviews, and paraded around as being just not my type. And it is. That's exactly what would happen if you threw in a plus-size woman as the token piece of diversity. I feel like that's what happens a lot of the time when you throw in someone as a token piece of diversity and you don't do anything as far as the rest of your casting goes. Like, yeah, if you include them with the way you run the show now, for sure bad things are gonna happen and you're gonna have some nasty shit happen on TV that we do not want people watching. But if you did the casting correctly and you stopped casting all these people with the same parameters that you cast people now and sort of hit it from a new angle, I think you could include plus size people in a show like Love Island and have it not be a big deal. But you can't do it as like an add-on to what you do now. I know that so many people are probably watching this like, it's not that deep, shut up. And like, fair enough. It's reality TV. I find it interesting, and specifically reality TV dating shows are like super popular and people want to get involved and be a part of the audience and be a part of Bachelor Nation. I just feel like it kind of sucks to have to watch it over and over again when you're a part of a population that is just like, oh, well, they don't want me here.
Making you happy is enough to do.
And lastly, we have Are You the One, which I have not seen. I'm sorry. I saw the first episode of the most recent season and my roommate rants and raves about the show all the time. I've heard a lot about it, but I do feel like Are You the One is sort of a lesser talked about dating show. For those of you that don't know, the most recent season featured a cast of LGBTQ people and they were all attracted to everyone, which was super cool. That was something new, casting a bunch of people who were attracted to everyone on the show and just saying, fuck it, fuck everyone. Do everything you've ever wanted to do, ever. Are You the One doing this is a pretty interesting example just because it's not one of the biggest dating shows. If Love Island did that. You might see significantly higher levels of viewership and higher ratings just because of popularity alone, but also you've never marketed to this group before. There are so many gay people that just aren't interested in watching dating shows because, like, who wants to just watch straight people be straight people for an hour every week? You can't expect all of a sudden every gay person that has never in the past given a single fuck about dating shows to just come out of the woodwork and be like, yes, I care about this one. We all care so much, don't we, everybody? Like, you've got to give it time. I'm sure that if they kept that going on Are You the One, you'd see ratings rise and you'd see more people tuning in every week. But you can't expect it to be an instant hit when you've never marketed to this demographic before. It's not even like that show was heavily promoted. Like, I feel like I saw ads for it a lot because I watch a fuck ton of Jersey Shore, but outside of that, I don't think I ever saw anything about it online. So listen, like I said, I love reality TV. I love reality TV dating shows. I'm not gonna stop watching these shows because I'm angry at the producers. But producers, if you're watching this, I'm angry at you. The problem obviously is much bigger than just with the producers. The problem is the entire attitude we have towards big bodies in general, not just in media, but just as a whole, how we speak about big bodies in our day-to-day lives and what's deemed acceptable in that regard.
I think that a lot of us, most of us, say things on a daily or weekly basis that are unintentionally fatphobic, or sometimes we struggle with ourselves and we say things out loud that negatively impact the people around us, and maybe we're not even quite aware of the ways that we're talking and how it could be harmful because it's so deeply ingrained in our minds that this is just like how we speak about big bodies. For example, I'll tell you a story. A little bit ago, I was hanging out with a group of people. I was the biggest person in that group. It's not uncommon for me to be the big girl in a group of people that I hang out with. And I was asked to take a photograph of somebody. I'm an Insta-baddie. I know how to take you a picture. I'll do it. I'm there for you. Always, sister. And while I was taking this person's photograph, they looked at me and asked me if they looked fat in their outfit and if I could try to make them look skinny. And imagine what that situation looked like when a thin person looks at a fat person and asks them, do I look fat? What do you want me to say to that? What I want to say to that is, I mean, would it be the worst thing? I've been doing just fine, but that's gonna make you and I both fucking uncomfortable. So what would you like me to say? Because I don't have words for that. And I know not to take these things personally because I know that it's not a reflection of me and that it's somebody else's insecurity that all of a sudden gets projected onto me for a second, or they're not even considering the fact that I am bigger than them and they're asking me, do I look fat? And I'm like, are you scared of that? Are you scared to look like me? That's nice. That's really nice that you just said that straight to my fucking face. I get that it has nothing to do with me. I'm a big girl, right? But after that happened, I did have to excuse myself and cry for 30 minutes. Language like that and talking about fatness and big bodies and this fear about becoming that, talking about it like that, whether it has to do with ourselves or other people, is so common that people hardly even notice when they do it. And maybe the reason why you don't notice that you're doing it is because you're talking to other thin people. And listen, it's not easy. We've been taught to look at fatness a certain way, to be afraid of it, and to fear seeing it in ourselves and look to the people around us to be like, please tell me I'm not. We gotta stop it. We gotta knock that shit the fuck off. This problem about conversations around fatness runs so much deeper than just what's on fucking TV. This is how we talk to each other in our day-to-day lives. This is how we talk to ourselves about what our own bodies look like. So yes, although I'd love to see a show where someone that looks like me gets to love and be loved, I also recognize that part of where the change comes from analyzing the ways that we speak in our day-to-day lives and how we are contributing to it ourselves. I talk so fucking much.
I would love to watch a season of The Bachelor or Love Island where we get to watch and experience true diversity on these shows without it ever acknowledging itself. I don't want you to pat yourself on the back and be like, we included fat people this season. Yes, bitch. I don't want you to capitalize on people's insecurity about their bodies at all. I want to just watch big people fall in love. And I feel like you could cast me. I would probably be good TV. Imagine me in the confessional. So I think I have feelings for him. Maybe this was all just a setup. This whole video was just one big plant to get inside of your head so that you can't stop fucking thinking about me. And any producer that's watching, I do fuck on the first date. So I feel like that in itself is entertainment enough, is it not? So in conclusion, may I just remind all of you that there are so many different kinds of hot and sexy and beautiful out there. You are going to find someone that loves you because of your body and not in spite of it. If you guys like this video, be sure to like it, give it a comment, and of course, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm at Maddie Dragsbaek on pretty much all social media. Hit me up on Instagram for the hot titty pics. You know how I come through. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.